Okay, so here it goes. First video for Latina Light. That's what I'm calling myself. My name is Kim, but hopefully I'm a Latina that's going to be getting a little lighter. Just had gastric bypass surgery January 23rd, 2017. So far, a little over 2 weeks past, I have dropped exactly 24 pounds. Wow, right? Wow. But that's mostly thanks to an all liquid diet. Definitely miss chewing. Didn't expect that one. But as this is my first video, as you can see, I haven't quite narrowed down the best place to do my video logs. And right now I'm seeking shelter in my bedroom. 6 people in the house, rambunctious teenagers, 2 big dogs. This seemed like the best option. So basically, we're going to go over my goals, what I hope to accomplish, and where I began. Um, in 2009, I started having a lot of female problems, diagnosed with cysts and endometriosis, horrible pain, but through the whole process, it ended up messing with my thyroid. And until I had my hysterectomy due to hypothyroidism, it ended up putting about 130 pounds on me in the span of 8 months, 9 months, somewhere around there. Once I had my hysterectomy, my hormones and everything went back to normal, but I was left with all this excess weight. I was pushing around 320 pounds, which my size, I'm only 5'3", that's a lot of weight. So I began the journey of trying to lose it. The smallest that I've gotten down to since then was around 243, 44 pounds. And that was dieting, exercise, things like that. But I seemed to plateau. I couldn't get past that. I would stay right around the 240 mark, 245. And that was still extremely heavy. I ended up developing osteoarthritis, partially due to weight, but also it's hereditary. It runs in my family. It's just something I was blessed with. But among other problems, I've got several ruptured discs in my lower back, and I ended up having to have ankle reconstruction in July of 2016. And then my left knee started giving out, having horrible, horrible pain with it, popping, sliding out of place. It makes any type of physical activity extremely hard. So I ended up getting shots in it in August of 2016. But those only last so long. And just because the diet and exercise was limited, my weight loss was limited. I mean, I moved to swimming. I would swim 5 times a week for at least an hour, but I just could not get past that 240 mark. And around the holidays, stressful situations, just a whole lot of things, I kind of gave up. I absolutely gave up and just said, screw it. I'm going to be fat. I'm going to have these problems, whatever. And I ended up gaining right back to 275 pounds. Now, I had been on a hopeful gastric bypass surgery for years now. But from about April of 2016, I had been working with my doctor, several of them, to make gastric bypass surgery possible. I did my diet plan, I exercised, I went through all the rigorous testing, the endoscopy, the blood work, the x-rays, I mean, all of it. And for months I didn't hear anything back. I mean, I even did a psych eval just for them to say that I'm okay enough to have weight loss surgery. Okay, I didn't realize you had to be not crazy to be a skinny bitch. But anyway, joking. Um I didn't hear anything, so finally in January of this year, I started calling all the physicians, and none of the paperwork had been turned in. All these different offices hadn't turned my paperwork in, so I had to go around, round all that up, and then suddenly there was a problem with my EKG. What? I've never had any heart problems. I've never had symptoms of heart problems. Heart disease does not run in my family. And it was a Friday afternoon, 4:30, and a nurse calls me and says, Miss Alanis, I'm sorry to tell you, your EKG was abnormal. You have to see a cardiologist. Have a great weekend. That was it. She couldn't tell me what made it abnormal, what was wrong. I mean, no details. None. Just, hey, you have a heart condition. Congratulations. Have a great weekend. Gotta go. It's Friday. I'm out. Thanks, bitch. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, of course, that was nerve wracking. So, by Monday, I go and see my bariatric surgeon and I let him know what's going on. He is extremely helpful. He gets the ball rolling because I had a surgery date a week out. I mean, that Monday when I saw him, I was scheduled to have surgery the very next Monday on January 23rd. And here I am suddenly with a brand new mystery heart condition. But thankfully, he was able to get me in to do a lot of testing, and that was the week from hell. I went on test after test after test, and finally it came down to a cardiologist sent me into the hospital Thursday of that week before surgery to have an echo stress test. If you don't know what that is, basically they hook you up to an EKG machine and they get your regular pattern down and your rhythm, and then they do an ultrasound of your heart, kind of like if a woman is pregnant, they do the ultrasound of the baby on the inside. Okay, that's fine. Well, then they have to get your heart rate up to around 185 beats per minute. So, fat girl meets treadmill. This was okay because I had been going to the gym for a while now. I mean, my cardio was awesome, but here's the problem. I could go for a while swimming, but I never got my heart rate that high. I mean, I would leave my heart rate after exercise and during exercise was in the 160s, maybe 170. Excuse me. So to try to push it to 185 was a huge thing for me. And the treadmill, the impact on my ankle, who was only reconstructed 6 months ago, still doing therapy on that. The knee that is horrible, that I have to have steroid shots in. I mean, nearly 300 pounds coming down on that was wicked crazy. So I was able to stay on the treadmill for about 6 minutes, but they could not get my heart rate up to 185. So guess what? You get the lovely medicine. I had a horrible time trying to get the IV in my arm because I have really deep, rolly veins. Not the best one for an IV. Finally got it in there on the third try, and then they give me this medicine. Okay. You feel this intense rush, just this heat going over you, and you feel your heart speed up, and it's the weirdest thing ever to be laying in the bed and feel your heart race like you have just rounded the second lap of a marathon. It is crazy, and it comes in 3 different phases. So by the third phase, I mean, your heart's going pretty fast, but my heart still hasn't went up to 185 beats. But I'm starting to get nauseous, and I tell the nurse, look, I'm going to puke. I'm going to throw up. And this poor little echo tech, I mean, she's trying. She sits right in front of me. You have to stay in this horrible position for the echo tech. She's right in front of me with this little ultrasound wand, right on my chest. Just waiting for that moment when I hit, the correct beats. Just so she could get some awesome pictures. And so when I tell them I have to throw up, she's the one getting nervous. Well, she should be. But, okay. So they have to give me a second medicine because the first medicine still didn't raise my heart rate enough. Okay. The second one did. As soon as I hit that target heart rate, I mean, just everywhere. Luckily, I mean, it's coming out. The poor EKG tech, I mean, she's just doing everything she can to avoid it. But, luckily she had given me this little puke bag. So I made that mostly. But, long story short, they finally got the pictures. And the very next afternoon, I get a call from the cardiologist's office. I don't have a heart problem. could have told you that. I mean, nobody could ever tell me why all of the EKGs were reading abnormal except for the ones from the hospital. I mean, I went through an entire week of hell and a stress test from hell to find out good news. I mean, I worked for that. Yeah, I worked for that good news. But it still sucked. But that following Monday, when I showed up at the hospital, because I was going to have gastric bypass surgery, because despite my weight, despite all of my other injuries, I was healthy enough. I wasn't diabetic. I didn't have a heart condition. I mean, they could still work with people that do have these health issues. It's just much harder to do gastric bypass on them. But for the most part, I was a very healthy 34-year-old. So it just seemed unreal. I had been dreaming about this moment and thinking about it for years now. Years. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the show, My 600-Pound Life. I have done so much research. I've tried to lose weight on my own. And for it to actually be happening, it felt unreal. But it felt really, really real when I woke up from that anesthesia. Oh my God, I have not felt pain like this ever. My hysterectomy, I woke up screaming, begging for pain medication. I could not make a sound with this one. It was very, very intense, and I have a very high pain tolerance. It comes from many years of domestic violence abuse, but that's a different video. It was unreal, and it was laparoscopic. So I mean, I had 5 incisions and a drain tube. That's one thing that none of these shows or the internet ever told me about. I wasn't told I was going to have this drain tube bag hanging out of my right side when I checked into the hospital or did all my pre-op appointments either. That's very strange. I mean, it's just this little pouch with this tube into the portion of your stomach that you're no longer going to be using that drains, you know, all the excess blood and fluid out. I mean, it doesn't need to stagnate in there. It really doesn't. I understand the reasoning for it, but it was very surprising to have this thing hanging off of my body. But anyway, I'm very fortunate to have a family that supports me and stands by me. I mean, I have 3 wonderful kids, 16, 14, and 11 years old. And they were very supportive. They came and saw me at the hospital. I have a wonderful boyfriend. He's always by my side. My mother, I mean, she even stayed the first night with me. It's very hard. You have to get up the very first night so you don't develop blood clots in your legs, which can be very dangerous. If one of them lets loose, gets to your lungs or your brain, I mean, your heart, they can kill you. So no matter how sore you are, and let me tell you, when you get up, it feels like your entire abdominal region is about to fall out and it's pulling so badly. It's excruciating, burning pain. But you have to walk. You have to get past it. And, I mean, you get pain medicine. But, I mean, the diet is very limiting. But that's something that I needed. It helped. So, all of that combined, all of the pain, the tests, the waiting, the time, I'm very thankful. But there are so many things that you miss that you don't think you'll miss. I mean, you try to mentally prepare yourself for seeing other people eat food that you can't have. Like, I mean, your favorite foods. But here's the thing for me. I miss chewing. Just chewing. That's it. I mean, weeks of nothing but a liquid diet. And don't get me wrong, you can get creative with your soups and shakes and other things, but get a pack of gum. Get several packs of gum. Sugar-free, of course. Because you are going to miss just the act of chewing. It sounds so weird to say, but you will. Also, the ability to hold back a burp. I don't know what it is. I mean, just to be able, I guess maybe you don't have enough room in that little pouch that they give you that, is now called your stomach to hold in liquid and air. I don't know, but you can be in the middle of a sentence and it just, there you go, kind of like bubble wrap, pop, pop. It just comes right out. Doesn't matter where you're at. Yeah, that one's kind of hard. Still getting used to that one. It's turning sleeping positions, being able to turn from one side to the other while you're still healing with the sutures, your energy level. I am a naturally hyper person. I like chasing my kids. I'm a big goofball. I'm a kid at heart. Prank wars, Nerf wars, water balloon fights, catch football in the yard. I'm Southern. The things that we like are usually outdoorsy. We like to have fun. But for a big person, I was actually very active. The lack of energy and motivation. And I know it's because, my body is healing. This is a major surgery. And we don't get very many calories after this surgery. I mean, I'm pushing for maybe 500 calories a day. And this is since I started my protein shakes. And I add a little bit of, the Greek yogurt to it. But the lack of energy is astounding. So I'm ready for that to kick back in. It's like all the patience I had was used up waiting for the surgery to actually happen. And now that it's happened, I'm impatient. I'm impatient for every stage that's coming next. The soft food phase is next, because right now I'm on pureed foods. It's disgusting. It basically is baby food. It's very nasty. I'm carnivorous. I need meat. I need something that used to have a face. And to not be able to have that is very frustrating. But hey, it's taking the weight off of me. Little sacrifices for big rewards, that type of thing. But yeah, it's just, my journey is just beginning, and I want to document it. I want to share it. I've watched so many other people's journeys on YouTube, on Facebook. I've seen them, at my own surgeon's office, past patients, new patients, patients that, are right there with me, same stage. But I feel like I have to share my journey. Maybe my journey will help somebody else like other people's journeys helped me. Not to mention, I think it'll help me by sharing. It's therapeutic. Just being able to talk, know that hopefully there's somebody out there listening that'll take your words to heart. Being able to share your story and know that at least one person is listening and hopefully they take something from it, it's very therapeutic. It lets you know you have a purpose. And it makes you feel like maybe you're not going through this all alone after all. That it's not completely selfish to want to lose weight, to want to feel better. That, yeah, you made some mistakes along the way, but you're trying to correct them. Initially, was it my fault? Was it not my fault? It doesn't matter. What matters is that somebody is really trying to better themselves. And they're wanting that good job, that pat on the back. And they're wanting to do it for themselves. It takes a lot of courage for somebody to post videos like this for the entire world to see. But at the same time, it lets them know that they don't have to hide. They don't have to be ashamed. That they feel lucky that they have been given this opportunity. And they don't want to waste it. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like to actually see myself on YouTube. I don't know what it's going to be like to have people comment. I expect to have good and bad comments, and I don't know how I'm going to react to them. I got a little bit of a temper, but at the same time, I do try to value everybody's opinion. I really do. So if somebody doesn't like me, doesn't like my channel, doesn't like what I have to say, move on. There's so many other options out there. Stop watching me and start watching what you really want to watch. Unless you're just one of those people that like to criticize. Then you're welcome, because I gave you something to do for today. But anyway, my name is Kim. This is Latina Light. And hopefully I will be uploading a bunch more videos. And I will be getting smaller in the meantime. The incredible shrinking Mexican. Let's see how this goes. Alright guys, take care.